Today on TQA Weekly, I'm going to be talking about POST, Power On Self-Test, what it does, what it means, and how it can help you diagnose your computer. My name is Steve Smith, this is TQA Weekly, and if ever you have any questions, comments, suggestions, and or PC horror stories, you can always email me at ask@tqaweekly.com. Go to my website, tqaweekly.com, and either comment to this specific episode or send me an email via the form. And of course, if you're using YouTube, blip.tv, or anywhere else I post to every single week, you can always use the comments box down below. So today we're going to be talking about POST, Power On Self-Test. It is the process of hardware and software testing itself before the device fully loads. When it passes the Power On Self-Test, it will actually turn over the control from the bootstrap protocol and allow the operating system to start. This is safer than just powering on the device. Why is POST important? Because it makes sure all of the devices connected inside actually work before powering them all on fully. Doing so prevents any unnecessary damage to your equipment. So how do you know there's something wrong with the device in question? Well, it won't post. Many of the devices that we talk about when we refer to POST are computers. Many have built-in speakers onto the motherboard or speakers that came with it that you can plug on it that will actually give you an audible amount of beeps. Some motherboards can even go as far as giving you sets of lights or numbers to actually allow you to check in your manual to see what is wrong. However, you have those kinds of error that actually require that the motherboard at least be partially functional enough to actually determine something's wrong, and then you've got the full off, won't even power non-posting of a computer system. So is there any reason why a device would actually refuse to power altogether? And we're not talking about you forgot to plug it into the wall. Well, some of the many issues that can prevent a motherboard from powering, period, might be the power supply itself. If the power supply is dead, it would never post anyway. So let's just say it's not that. Well, you can also have bad memory. You can also have shorts that are resulting from other equipment attached to the computer that would prevent the computer from ever posting because it would not be safe for the computer to start with defective equipment. So the computer does not post. What do you do next? Because a lot of you will take the computer to one of your friends or computer store. But what happens if you don't have the option? You might want to know how to do it yourself. Well, one of the easiest way to figure out if something is actually wrong with one of the pieces of equipment inside your computer is to just disconnect everything. Leave it bare bones. Leave RAM, the processor, if there's no onboard video, leave the graphics card and the power supply, and that's it. All auxiliary PCI, PCI Express cards, and AGP if it's old enough, you must remove. All hard drives should be disconnected, all optical drives, and every other human interface device except for your keyboard, because you don't technically need a mouse to do a POST test since most of us still rock a BIOS and not a UEFI BIOS to this point. When you do that, you will actually be able to see if your computer posts at all. So, if your computer still fails post with the absolute minimum, and you have more than 1 bar of RAM, remove all but 1 bar of RAM and continue trying to boot your computer until it actually boots, testing 1 bar of RAM at a time. If that doesn't work, and you have a graphics card on your motherboard, try removing the graphics card to see if, by the way, I'm talking about one that's plugged in, try removing the graphics card to see if it will power. It will probably still fail post if you needed a graphics card to start the computer. However, it will power if the graphics card was the one in issue. If you have a compatible processor, you may want to switch them to see if that too will or will not boot itself. So if you know that everything on the motherboard and the graphics card and the processor work and that the power supply is sufficient to start the system, The other type of test you can do is actually connecting them all individually, one at a time. Every time something passes, remove it from the computer and put it inside a pile such as known good. Anything that keeps the computer from booting should be put in a pile known as known defective. I'll tell you what to do with those after. Once you have identified all the known good devices, you can now consider putting them all together one at a time. Each time one device added actually allows the computer to post, you connect the next device one at a time. It is time consuming and it may be annoying, but it will keep you from actually having to guess which piece of equipment is keeping you from actually booting. Since sometimes computers don't post because of incompatible hardware. So this is one of the reasons why you should definitely read the manual of the manufacturer of your motherboard, because they may actually state what kind of hardware is incompatible or compatible with your computer. Once you have done all of this, everything that is known to be bad, if they're still under warranty, you take them back to where you bought them or contact the manufacturer themselves and get them RMA'd. At which point you may either get them repaired and or replaced at a little bit of an extra cost if you do it yourself, but if you already paid the extended warranty in a computer store or something, you will not have to worry about that specific detail later on. This is why computers have posts. Now, for those wondering, what would happen if our computers did not need post? Well, let's just give you an idea. If your computer did not do a post test before starting up, and there was significant issues with your computer, you could actually lose all the data on your hard drive, and in some cases, the power supply itself, due to shorts inside a computer, could actually catch fire burning down your house. This is why we have post in our computers. It prevents unnecessary due damage to your equipment. Because most of the time when your computer fails, only parts of your computer fail, not everything. The only thing that really causes complete and utter damage to your computer are brownouts and surges caused by the outlet from an unprotected computer that's not on a UPS, an uninterruptible power supply. So that's all I have to talk about post today. Thank you for subscribing and for watching this episode. And if you think anybody else can benefit from this, don't forget to like and share this episode with your friends and to mention what you have learned today. Goodbye.